Welcome to the World United. Welcome to the World United.
Next, I would like to invite Margie McCumstie. Welcome.
Thank you.
So Margie is an acclaimed speaker, author, and entrepreneur, and she's going to be talking about let go, hold on, rise up. Margie has a mission to empower people to live courageously, inspired lives, and for businesses to acknowledge and harness the gifts of their teams. Her words serve to catalyze positive transformation and personal growth and human and business development. She's also the founder and business owner of both Metamorphosis Ceremonies and Love Legacy, and her first book, Beloved, Remembering, Discovering, and Creating Who You Are as You Journey Through Life. It was not only an Amazon bestseller, but it continues to raise funds for a number of charities. Margie brings her passion and exuberance to the stage whenever she speaks, sharing with vulnerability and power. She's appeared in the Today Show, Cosmopolitan Magazine, Courier Mail, Radio 4BC, and has spoken for audiences including QE2, Hospital, FMD Financial, and Uncowed Women. The previous winner of Australian Small Business Champion Awards, Margie shares from a wealth of experience in business and life. From personal training to funeral celebrant with a dash of burlesque dancing thrown in, a vibrant, creative, and formidable woman with a story that will make you laugh and cry. Margie will impact your life with her words, her empathy, and her resilience. She lives in the Hunter Valley area with her fiance, Dean Stepson Braden, and a tempestuous cat named Luna. So welcome, Margie. Welcome.
Thank you very much. All right, I'm just going to share my screen. So all the art of living lies in a fine mingling of letting go and holding on. And today we're exploring grief, love, and life. And Brené Brown said that vulnerability is the willingness to show up with no guarantee of an outcome. But I'm going to disagree with Brené today because I'm going to guarantee an outcome. And that is that this short talk will impact your life forever. But to do that requires for me to be vulnerable in my speaking and for you to be vulnerable in your listening. So if you'll join me with an open heart and an open mind, I'll guarantee that this talk will be life-changing with new possibilities for you to step into, like a new year with a fresh start. New Year's Eve is usually filled with hope and excitement about new possibilities for the coming year. Some years I write resolutions and some years I don't. I'm grateful for what has been and I'm determined for what is to come. I always celebrate, sometimes alone and sometimes with friends. I take time to reflect and cherish my life. New Year's Eve in 2019 was different. In June 2019, I was by my dad's side, holding his hand as he took his last breaths. In October 2019, I sat with my father-in-law as he died only months after my own dad. And so at midnight, I farewelled a hard and emotional year, and a really hard and emotional year. And I had to step forward knowing that my dad was no longer going to be there. And so I thought about what I could do. I thought about the excitement of doing something special in this new year. And I came up with a crazy aspirational dream to write a book and dedicate it to my dad. So I set about writing. I wrote and I cried as I remembered and recounted stories I had forgotten. I told the story about my dad dying. I shared about my life, my loves, my losses, my triumphs and failures. I shared with authenticity and a raw honesty that was powerful and real. And as I wrote, I realized that I've been living a full life, a life that I'm very grateful for. As I wrote about my dad, I knew he wasn't perfect, but in seeing his humanity, I felt compassion, and I offered the same compassion to myself as well. When I wrote my book, which is part memoir, part self-help book, part journal prompts, I knew I wanted to share about and honor my dad. He had lived a life filled with courage and resilience. Now, I wanted to share honestly about my dad and didn't want to make out like he wasn't flawed. Courage, determination, and resilience aren't just for saints and superheroes. So I told the truth. Dad had an incredible work ethic and saved money towards his goal of owning a farm. But Dad's way was very restrictive and has definitely impacted my relationship with money. But I can also recognize Dad's strength and determination and admire that. I can admire his commitment to his dream and the discipline it took for him to get there. He was intelligent, dynamic, and immensely likable. Dad was charismatic and an animated storyteller. But I knew Dad had problems with how I lived my life, and whilst I wanted Dad to be proud of me, I couldn't live my life worrying about what he would think or if he would be disappointed or not. I had to love Dad just as he was, somewhat gruff, occasionally dismissive, and frustratingly sexist and racist, but ultimately my dad. 2 years ago, my brother and I decided to visit Dad in Dubbo. My dad was 94, and whilst I had no doubts he was going to make it to 100, we often drove out to visit. We tried to phone when we were just 10 minutes away, but he didn't answer his phone. It wasn't like him. We tried again. Still no answer. We arrived at his house and rang the doorbell. No response. We knew Dad kept the door unlocked for ambulance service when he was up, so we tried the door and it was unlocked. We opened the door and I called out in a loud but somewhat shaky voice, "Dad?" I heard Dad call out from his bathroom and I realised he'd been stuck in the bathroom all night, unable to walk. We spent many hours with Dad, sitting by his side in hospital as they did tests and tried physio. Dad kept looking to the future and getting us to help him investigate ways to renovate his bathroom to give him greater mobility and things like that. There were so many medical problems, kidneys, heart, and they found a slow-growing cancer that had probably been there undiagnosed for decades. My brother Charlie and I realised that our dad was dying. We were heartbroken and still visiting each day. Now, I'd done a course a few months earlier to be a death doula, and the instructor had said that hope can be cruel. I did not understand at the time, but when we realised, and then Dad knew he was dying, the cruelest thing anyone could give was hope. It might sound strange, but hope takes away your chance to grapple with reality instead of hanging on to a hoped-for fantasy. So there was nothing left unsaid. I made Dad talk about love and life. I talked to Dad about how he wanted to be remembered, and I interviewed him about his life and prepared his funeral ceremony script. Dad was willing to have me do his funeral, and I was incredibly honoured, but unsure how I would be able to. I chose songs for Dad's service and played them for him. As I read the ceremony to Dad in his hospital bed, he listened intently, absorbing each and every word. When I was finished reading, silent tears streaming down my face, Dad shook my hand and thanked me and told me it was excellent. The love and pride I had been seeking throughout my adult life was in that handshake. He didn't talk a lot more after that. And 24 hours later, he died. with my brother holding one hand and with me holding the other. A week later, I conducted Dad's funeral, complete with bagpipe entry and personalised elements and a lifetime of photos and stories. It was the hardest and most special ceremony I have ever conducted. And that night when I slept, I saw Dad in my dreams. I watched as he wrote in his handwriting 2 words, spot on, which he then underlined with his signature lightning bolt. My dad might have died, but my love and memories live on. And my relationship with him changed after that. I always felt like I was the one he least understood, but in many ways was most like. I feel like he gets me now. And when I cry, as I remember and grieve, I don't feel him chastising me, just showing emotion, but just loving me. All that was left is freedom and love. I'll show you a photo of my dad. Not that. Let's try that again. Where is it? There it is. So there's my dad. It's my beautiful dad.
Oh.
And there we go. All right. And so I fulfilled on my mission to write the book, Beloved, Remembering, Discovering and Creating Who You Are as You Journey Through Life. And I wrote a dedication to my dad, to Arthur Charles McCumstie, my dad. You faced it all and you stood tall and did it your way. Thanks for the love and inspiration. This book is about my way. And you'll notice the signature lightning bolt. So in those final days, less than a month from when Dad first went to the hospital, we gave Dad a gift: acceptance, love, and appreciation. We thanked him for being our dad and acknowledged him for his life. I like to think I helped bring him to a more peaceful place where he knew how he would be remembered and that he was and always would be loved. As a girl, I knew myself as a daughter, sister, and member of a family. I loved with exuberance and generosity and was proud of my family and of being a McCumstie. I appreciated being quirky and knew I was creative and imaginative, resourceful and kind. And with Dad's passing, he gave me a gift too. Over 2 years on from my dad's death, I realise and know more than ever that I am all those things plus more: forgiving and caring, deeply connected and free. There is magic and power in words. I'm so proud of the book I wrote because it's like a legacy for my life. I tried to be vulnerable when I wrote because the person I imagined snuggling up into their bed with my book deserved that. I also got that sense that it was important that I share some family stories. And it took writing my book for me to truly know just how special and valuable I am. And you are too. We all have our unique paths and our unique contributions. And I hope that my stories, lessons and learnings can continue to empower the lives of people all over the globe as people hear me share or read my book. So I really hope I've done my dad proud. Now, I started today by telling you I was willing to be vulnerable, and I asked you to do the same. So let me leave you with one final message. You can let go and know that in doing so, you can still also hold on to your love and memories. You are free to rise up and live. We rise when we can remember who we are as young children, unfettered and free, filled with awe and wonder and the joy of life. We rise when we remember who we are at our core, We rise when we discover who we have become, as we find resilience, strength, compassion, and empathy as we journey through life. We rise when we can consider that instead of being a victim to our circumstances, we are a beneficiary, as being gifted with our pasts, regardless how turbulent, for who we have become is the gift. We rise when we create who we are in this world and for this world. We rise when we see that we are powerful co-contributors with the universe. We choose our contribution and we choose who we get to be from this point on, just like starting a new year, except this is a new life. There is no need to fear the gloriousness of who you are anymore. Marianne Williamson wrote in her book, A Return to Love, the following words that I'd like to share with love and gratitude for you. She mentions God, but hear that as higher power, universe, or whatever best serves you. I promise to be vulnerable if you would join me in this space, and you have. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So, my friends, it's time to be free, to let go, hold on, rise up. Namaste.
Thank you, Margie, for this realness, the raw authenticity. And I think a lot of us in this pandemic have come very close to death. Death came close, including me. And last year, when I conducted the Australian, World Parliament, he was there hearing me. And today he is in spirit. So I acknowledge him, and I acknowledge there are so many others who are watching us right now, who have gone through that. Death has come so close. And in that, while we have felt that despair, we've also felt a unity, that no matter where you were, it came so close, and we all grappled with that. And I want to discuss this more as we go into the panel. But thank you for that raw honesty. I think you spoke for a lot of us more clearly than we could ever say. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I would like to present the certificate of speaker. The World United presents Certificate of Speaker to Margie McCumstie for being an esteemed speaker in the Global Transformation Festivals 2021 Australia. And I present this on behalf of Dr. Yugandhar and Grandma Parisha. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's beautiful. Thank you.